Tonight, Governor Bill Lee will deliver his State of the State address at the Tennessee State Capitol. I'm now joined on the phone live by Lipscomb University political analyst Linda Peak with more on what we can expect from the governor tonight. Linda, good morning. We always appreciate you sharing your insight with us. I noticed one of the topics that the governor plans to focus on is America at its best. What did you think just seeing the notes as far as the outlook that the governor is going to be presenting tonight for Tennessee and possibly the country?
Well, thank you for having me on, Nikhil. Yes, I think the excerpts released so far tell us that this is a national speech as well as a local speech. Yes, Bill Lee will meet voters in the fall for re-election, but I think this speech shows he has his eyes on higher office. And with America at its best as a theme, he shows several things. He claims Tennessee has resisted big government overreach to become one of the freest states in the nation. He claims Tennessee has one of the most restrictive abortion laws and uses the language of redemption as he talks about that. I think we see a three-dimensional Bill Lee here. We see Bill Lee the Christian, we see Bill Lee the businessman, and we see Bill Lee the politician who has his eye on higher office. The businessman comes through with fiscal stewardship, right? And he's going to talk about the work that he's done in terms of a long-term strategy to manage the state's assets for a balanced budget, first time ever state-owned property strategy, that type of thing. But at the same time, as the Democrats pointed out in their rebuttal, he's going to talk about some investments, the funding of which will come also from federal bills that have been passed under the Biden administration.
Okay. So was there anything in the excerpts that you found surprising, Linda, that kind of jumped out at you as someone who follows this politics closely?
Well, as I said, it is written for a national audience. You see the Republican themes of fiscal responsibility, of protecting freedom, of supporting families. And these are all things that he is going to point to that Tennessee, under his governorship, has done and done well. And you see throughout the speech that he uses phrases like, America can learn from Tennessee. And so I think he's saying not only to Tennesseans, we can be proud of the Tennessee that exists under Bill Lee, but also that he could bring that kind of leadership to the country.
Is this something that was kind of expected, Linda, I guess at this point in the governor's career, that he might or might not be, looking towards a more national stage?
Well, there have been rumors and more than rumors that he is interested in higher office. He, of course, faces the voters of Tennessee this fall, and there is very little doubt that that he would be reelected, barring any unforeseen circumstances. But that's still 2 years away from 2024. But I think those people who listen tonight are going to hear a focus on a message that all Americans all Republicans in America would respond to well. That fiscal stewardship, the idea that we're the freest state in the union, the idea that he's resisted big government overreach. And again, even though the Democrats will say he, in resisting that overreach on COVID, he didn't do enough on COVID in Tennessee.
Interesting. Going to be
so
interesting.
I don't think it's a surprise. Yeah.
Right. Lots to watch for tonight for sure. Thank you so much for your time and insight as usual, Linda. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Nikhil.
Of course. And folks, keep in mind, News 2 will be watching the governor's State of the State address closely as well. So look for moments online and starting on News 2 at 10 o'clock.